to pass through their security. When I talk about the security, yes, the transactional data has to go to the right people, not to anybody else and all. Now that is one part of it. The second thing is that where is this data is residing? This data is residing in a server. And where are the servers are located? The servers are located at the data centers. Now who owns this data center? Okay, then you've got two things. Some data center I own it, some data center I put it in other places and all. Like say for example, for Qatar National Cement Company, okay, the main data center we have put it in Miza. Okay, that is a Qatar Foundation. The disaster center is at some other place. Now, it is our responsibility to ensure that data on these two servers are protected very well. Okay, there we have got the authorizations, we have got the security rights and all. Okay, when you develop a systems, we ensure that the right people will get the right information. Even within the organization, people cannot jump into other things. Now, one of our experience is that, okay, the loss of data, the data going out, data leakage, okay, is coming more from the internal people rather than the outside people. So we need to protect our internal people. We need to ensure that, okay, they did not take the data. Now, from where these people are taking the data? Okay, it is from the systems. What system they are using it? They are using the computers, they are using the laptops, they are using the mobile devices. Now we need to ensure that, okay, this data is, when it is transferred to the devices, they should not be able to copy it. Okay, as a policy, okay, we need to plug all those things. The USB ports, okay, yes, they cannot copy it, they cannot copy onto pen drives and all, that type of data. The other thing is that, I think Samir also has pointed out, okay, coming on to the big data. Yes, this is something which I addressed in the beginning also. Now, there are three things we carry on the big data, okay, that is the large volumes, okay, and the large varieties, okay, and the large frequencies. When I talk about the large volumes, okay, the data, okay, huge data getting generated, okay, coming from different sources. It is not only from the ERP systems. We have got Excel spreadsheets, okay, we get data from the banks, okay, some people are working on the legacy systems. Now all this data has to be pooled together. Okay, when I talk about the frequencies, now this needs to be processed and given to the business people, okay, in a fly, in the sense they ask for some queries, system should generate and give it to them. That is where we use the different type of systems. I think Samir, did I address that or anything I missed on this?
No, thank you very much. It's covering all the areas that we think is maybe also going to open the door for the more questions.
Thanks.
But Mr. Rahtab, as we have seen the last 2 days, that our information technology infrastructure is getting more complex and getting more services now. And at the same time, we're getting bombarded with sales people that they are trying to sell and using buzzwords and you know how critical these systems that you need to buy. But from your experience and since you've been in this field for a long time and like so different sides of the information security, what are advices you would give to your clients to best take the best decision and select the best solutions for their needs and without being misled by salespeople?
Okay, thank you, Samir. I think that's a good question. I think first of all, it is very confusing when you have so many salespeople in nice suits and fancy watches coming along telling you need a product. And it's the marketing buzzword, it may be big data or cloud or whatever else. I think you need to step back and work really what's best for your organization and take a holistic approach and really pull back and say, what is my organization trying to achieve? Not what your department is trying to achieve, but what is your organization's goals? Where do you want to get to? How are you going to get that competitive advantage? How are you going to enable your users and the people within the company to get that competitive advantage in whatever they do? So how are you going to do that? You're going to have to go and sit with all the different department heads. So security shouldn't be sat in a silo. I mean, Satish, you brought up a nice set of silos of different business units or drivers, and you should be sitting with those people and interviewing them and finding out what they want to achieve and why, rather than being restrictive and saying, no, we need to do security in this way, or vendor A said we should do it this way. Once you've built out a map of what your organization wants today and where it's trying to get to tomorrow, you can then start to work with subject matter experts and trusted advisors. Now, this is where it becomes, I think, even more challenging. There's a lot of people that want to do everything for everybody, and we all know the guy that actually does the plumbing in the house isn't the same guy that should do the electrics. Well, hopefully not in this region either. So you need to go and find best of breed specialists in those places. So you work with your trusted advisors and question. Don't work backwards from what they can do. You should work forwards from what you want to achieve. Also, don't just look regionally. We have a tendency to do what we've done before and do what our neighbors are doing. But why not look further afield? Why not look across what the leaders of the internet are doing or the leaders of your organization are doing? So if you're a bank, for instance, why not look at the biggest bank in the world and find out why they're the biggest bank in the world, what type of systems they have, how their users work, how they're enabled, and how they get that competitive advantage, and what it would take for you to do that. Of course, you've got regulations and all those guys, but you can work with the regulators and find out and say, look, as a nation that's coming up, and as an entity that we want to be the best in the world, we need to be more like them. So you can influence the regulators. I would say the regulators even should be preaching best practice from global best practices and putting in compliance to help people reach those standards. So coming back, give your vendors a hard time, ask what they've done, ask for their experiences also. Don't say, why is your box good? Why is your service good? Ask them, how have you helped other people in my industry achieve greatness? What have you done? What steps have they taken? And I get this very often. In fact, Robert, who's over there, who's the sales manager for the region, and I were in a very large bank yesterday in the region, and that was the first question they said. They said, what are you doing for your other big banks in the world? Forget around here. What are they doing? What steps are they taking to secure their perimeter and their data centers, et cetera, and what other things are they doing? We couldn't give any names, but we had a very long conversation, and it wasn't about what we were selling today. It was about what steps they took, what processes they had taken, and what other things they were trying to do. So this is a great time to come to places like this and speak to your peers, but I'd urge you to look outside of the region as well. And look at what other people are doing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mohammed, from your point of view, what are the major information security and cloud cyber security challenges in today's environment? Since we have covered that, I think this is also in your radar as
well. I will say one of them is to do a self-denial of service. That's one of the risks and threats that I believe that could happen. As my colleagues here mentioned, sometimes changes to your systems and platforms could cause self-denial of service. So we have to avoid that by implementing a number of security and technology controls into our environment. Now, speaking about the other part, which is something that is away or not controlled by us, it's basically from malicious activities or from outsiders. I will really think that overall we have not experienced, alhamdulillah, in Qatar as extensive cybersecurity threats comparing to other areas in the region or in the world. And I guess, but maybe, well, let's, okay, debatable. This is what I believe. And I think one of the reasons is because of the maturity level that we have in our gateways and the infrastructure security that is really operated, what I believe it's in a unique way. Like the QCert and ICT Qatar. What I have seen with the QCert and ICT Qatar, I don't work for them, but I'm just very complimentary to them. I haven't seen it in even the US or Canada. They have done not only probably in Qatar, maybe in UAE as well or in Saudi Arabia, but I'm just sharing what I have seen in other countries. I mean, the level of maturity that I have seen from those critical infrastructure protection organizations such as ICT Qatar and Ooredoo and Vodafone, I guess, is really mature comparing to what I have seen in others. So to me, it's a good enough. Again, I'm not that expert to assess them or to know what exactly they do, but I'm just comparing what I've seen from other areas to what I've seen here, and I see it really effective enough to provide the sufficient level of protection and security to our environment here, or to the critical infrastructure here in Qatar. The other reason is our organizations are very popular, such as other organizations in some of the largest banks in the world, or I'm talking here about the financial sector. I mean, the banks that I worked in here in the Middle East are smaller than the banks that I worked with in North America. And over there, you see a bank that has 75,000 employees, thousands of branches, distributed globally with operations across everywhere. Unlike smaller banks here in the region that is really, smaller in nature, maybe they are not known as those banks. So those attackers, they will not really go to target those small banks, because one of their objectives is really to make a noise. And to make a noise, you don't go for the small guys. You go for the large international banks, and that will maybe cause an impact. I mean, that could satisfy their objectives anyway. So that's another lucky reason why it could be. So I'll be honest with you. Overall, it requires a lot of internal and external involvement, along with support from regulators, from the gateways, from the ISPs, and from the internal security experts and technology control experts within the organization to bring it to a better mature level. As of now, I think we are in a good shape.
Just can I add one question?
Absolutely.
I would always argue hackers really do not discriminate. They don't. They don't care how big you are, what color you are, what currency you have, what country you're in. You're on the internet, you have ports that are available, you can have a breach and you can have an attack. I mean, what would you say?
I agree. But at the same time, I'm just talking about
if you're talking about targeted attacks,
yeah,
I understand you've been fortunate so far,
yeah.
but
thanks God.
The world is changing.
Definitely, the world is changing. Definitely.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. And since I mentioned the question for Mr. Mohammed about the challenges, I will ask Sathi about how you mitigate the cybersecurity risk and once it comes to cloud computing.
I understand. See, this is something when you talk about the cyber security. Now,
We covered that correctly.
where are these people are sitting who are trying to hack the things, who are trying to get into our network, who is trying to get into our infrastructure, or who is trying to do the damage to our systems? Now, these guys, they don't come to our organization and do it. They are sitting across somewhere, and they are trying to come to our systems, through the internet. So when you design the internet architecture, the enterprise architecture, so we need to take care to ensure that what is that we need to expose and what is that we need not expose. So generally what we do is that all the business critical things, we don't expose to the internet. In case if we expose, we need to have a very tight policies, tight securities on the top of it. The other thing is that, this is something which is picking up now. Generally the competitors, if they want to kill us, if they want to see that our business comes down, they try to attack on our production systems. Now most of the companies today, most of the manufacturing organizations, we use SCADA and we use a lot of the production monitoring systems. So generally what we do is that we don't expose these to the outside world. So my cyber security is protected for these critical equipments, critical machines. Because these machines are very critical to us. If they are down, it's going to have a huge damage. The other thing is that, yes, we don't expose that. What is that we need to expose then? There are certain systems, there are certain applications. I still take it onto the cloud. When you talk about the cloud, again, you have the different types of cloud that you are all aware of it. You got a public cloud, you got a private cloud. Then we bring another concept on the top of it. Then hybrid cloud. Now this is something which I have shown one of the enterprise architecture. That is a combination of private cloud, the public cloud, and then the hybrid cloud. When I talk on hybrid cloud, yes, we use both the things because each one has got its own advantages, some disadvantages. Now, one of the key points is that which I want to share it with you is that, okay, when you go on to the public cloud, okay, yes, the cost is cheap, it is readily available, immediately you can implement it. But security comes as a concern. Then what you will do is that certain applications, okay, especially for the people who are in the heading the IT, okay, you've got development activities, you've got testing activities, you've got some training activities. So generally what we do is that these are not business critical. Okay, this we move to the cloud. We tie up with somebody, we'll take this infrastructure, we'll hire their servers, we'll hire their storage, we'll put the things on that. Now once the testing development is completed, then we move to the production where the real data is getting generated, that we keep it out of cloud. Now, the other one which I has mentioned was that, yes, there are cyber attack people, they try to attack your production systems. Now, suppose if I don't bring the production systems network into our corporate network, then I lose certain privileges, certain advantages. What is that? The production system has to transfer the data on real-time basis, okay, to the corporate systems also. Say for example, the production head, he needs to monitor, okay, which equipments are down, which systems are down, okay, whether the machines are working properly or not. Now, if I keep that out of the enterprise this thing, then the people doesn't get that information. So what we do in that case is that, okay, things from SCADA, things from the manufacturing systems, we dump, okay, certain critical data onto separate area in a computer. And from there, we pick it up into the corporate network. So what I'm trying to say is that, okay, when these people try to attack, okay, it is they come through the network, okay, the network has to be protected, and network need not be exposed. Business critical network, okay, should not be exposed onto the internet. Samir, I think this is my...
Thank you for your both of you. It's really informative.